Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a good week and I hope you have a wonderful Shabbos. This week's Erev Shabbos video Dvar Torah is sponsored by Yaakov Herring and Seth Berman in memory of Yaakov's mother Irene Herring, Chaya Bas Avraham Aleh Shalom, whose yahrzeit was observed on the 25th of Cheshvan. May her neshama should have an aliyah, and we thank Yaakov and Seth for the sponsorships. As always, we also take a moment to focus our thoughts and to think about and to daven for everyone in the land of Israel, especially those serving soldiers, their families, and davening for the last few remaining murdered hostages to be returned for proper burial in the land of Israel. One of the great questions of this week's parsha is how to understand Eisav. Was he totally evil? Was he just a rasha? Was he more complex? Was there some good inside of him? And there seems to be a contradiction whether or not Eisav wanted to continue the lineage and the legacy of Yitzchak and Abraham, his grandfather. Did he want to be part of the Mesorah, or did he really just not care and reject it all? And there seems to be a tension in the story, in the Torah. In the beginning of the story, in the scene when Eisav is coming back from the field and he's hungry, and he sees Yaakov preparing the lentil stew, and Eisav says, Haliteni na min hadom adom azeh, give me this red stuff. He's just so impulsive, he can only understand and think about what he sees right in front of him. And Yaakov convinces him to sell the rights to be the firstborn. And then the Torah says he sells it to him. Yaakov gives him the food. Vayocha, vayesht, vayakam, vayelach. And Eisav eats it, he drinks, he gets up, he leaves. He could care less. Vayivez, Eisav es habachora. And Eisav spurns, he rejects, he belittles, he mocks the entire concept of being the firstborn and everything that is part of that. From this scene, it would seem that Yaakov just didn't care. He didn't believe in it. He thought it was childish, foolish, silly. He rejected it all. And yet, at the end of the story, after Yaakov tricks his father Yitzchak and gets the brachos, Eisav now comes in. He presents himself. Abba, it's time for my brachos. And Yitzchak says, what do you mean? I already gave it to you. And they realize what had happened. And the Torah records, Vayitzak tzaka gedola umara ad ma'od. And Eisav lets out an incredibly, extremely great and bitter cry. And Eisav says, what do you mean? I want a bracha. Is there not another bracha? The Torah says again later in the dialogue between Eisav and Yitzchak, Vayisa Eisav kolo vayefk. And Eisav raises his voice and he cries. The great brute, he breaks down. Eisav, some deep part of himself, did want to be part of this, did want to be the son of Yitzchak. So how do we fit these pieces together? Perhaps there's a difference between the firstborn and the blessing, but to me, the way I understand it, one way to understand it is that this contradiction, this internal tension lived inside of Eisav. Because the truth is, Eisav himself didn't know what he wanted. It was only after he lost it, when he realized what he lost, he suddenly realized what this meant to him and how much he wanted it. But until then, he somehow didn't understand it, didn't feel it. He wasn't in touch with his true feelings. And so, Vayivaz Eisav es habachora, he rejected it, he made fun of it. That's what he told other people, and that's what he told himself, because he didn't even understand how important it was to him. He didn't understand. He didn't understand what he truly felt, what he truly wanted. Eisav had no self-knowledge, no self-awareness. And perhaps that was the greatest critical fault and sin of Eisav, what led to all of his other sins, of not understanding himself. And perhaps there is a medrash that even means to teach us this. After Eisav loses the firstborn and the blessing, the Torah records Vaistom Eisav, and Eisav, he hated Yaakov. Vayomer Eisav belibo, and Eisav said to himself, soon my father will die, and when that comes, I will murder my brother Yaakov. And the Torah says the phrase Vayomer Eisav bilibo, he said in his heart. And the Medrash comments, Harashayim birshus libam, the wicked, they are under the control, they are in the domain, they are within their hearts. Vayomer Eisav bilibo, Amar Naval bilibo, Vayomer Haman bilibo, they speak. So interesting, the Medrash notes it says bilibo, in their hearts. Aval hatzadikim, but the righteous, liban birshusam. Their hearts are under their control. Their hearts are within their domain. As it says, v'chanahi medaberes al liba, vayomer David el libo. Chana, David, they speak not in their hearts, but to their hearts, above their hearts. I think one way to understand this message is exactly this point, that the mark of a tzaddik is to understand oneself, to be self-reflective about oneself. And when you understand yourself, so then you are in control of yourself, and you know how to grow and to improve yourself. Whereas the wicked, they're birshus liban. They are under the domain and the control of their hearts. They don't see themselves, they don't understand themselves, and then what is left is that these internal desires and pushes and forces rule over themselves without even being aware of it. Self-knowledge is critical to a life of avodas Hashem, and self-knowledge is such a challenge to find the time, to be brave enough, to be honest enough with ourselves, to gain a better understanding of ourselves, what motivates us for good, and what are the things that knock us off the right path. This was the error of Eisav. He did not understand himself. He lived with this internal contradiction. He didn't even realize how much he wanted the blessing and to be the firstborn until it was too late. And the lesson to learn is to be the opposite, to be unlike Eisav, to be self-reflective, to be amongst the tzaddikim who speak to their hearts. To better understand ourselves is perhaps the most important step to actually make ourselves better. Let us find some time this Shabbos, this coming week, to think about some aspect of our personalities, of our lives, of our relationship, and the better we understand it, so then the more we can grow, and the better servants of Hashem we can become. Good Shabbos, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.